When you think of Penticton, you probably reminisce about a city between two lakes, in the middle of wine country. Beautiful beaches, water sports, outdoor adventure, with world-class rock climbing and cycling. A true Four Seasons paradise. Plus renowned for being the host community for so many festivals and events. Yet you undoubtedly will also reminisce about its rich hockey history. From the 1955 World Champion Vees, the Okanagan Hockey School being the longest continuously running hockey school in the world, the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, and having one of this country's most storied junior hockey franchises. In this series, we will look at Penticton Vees past, present, and into the future, and go behind the scenes as the current BCHL champions fight to defend their title.
This one's for you, Penticton. The Vees are 2022 Front Page Cup champions.
On the road, and in the locker room, what billet life is like, game day production and broadcast, the BCHL All-Star Game festivities, and of course, the playoffs. This and much, much more. Veesnation, making hockey history. Today, we will look at the culture of making hockey history.
Well, obviously the Penticton Vees come to mind, when you think of the history here of hockey in Penticton. They obviously have a long, record of success. They're well supported here. They're a real big part of the community. They're a pretty well-known team for the success they've had, in the BCHL. And obviously when you go way back to winning a world championship way back in the day, before my time, but still you know those things when a small little community was able to pull that off back when they did, so pretty impressive.
A winning tradition. Penticton has a winning tradition, and Fred Harbinson has kept that and keeps taking that to a higher level. And when you have that tradition, it's easy to lose, but they're doing a good job keeping it. And when you have that, players want to go there, and then you can push the players to meet their own personal goals and team goals when you have that environment.
Yeah, I was fortunate through my career of playing hockey that I was on some teams that did end up having some success, and I think I did learn a few things about what it takes. I think first and foremost, you have to be a strong team. You have to want to play for your teammates, support each other. You have to be focused and have some discipline in how you play, and you have to sort of have a strong desire to want to compete and maybe work a little bit harder or compete a bit harder than the guy across from you. So, to me, those are probably the three main things. Obviously, through history, they've had success here in Penticton with doing those very things. And last year, they went 16-0 once they lost the first game in the playoffs, which to me was an amazing accomplishment, no matter what league or where you're talking about, to win 16 straight playoff games. And I got to see a lot of them, and the way they played, it wasn't a surprise, because there were guys out there from the first line to the fourth line, playing hard, had responsibilities on the team and took pride in what they were doing out there. And it was really an impressive run to watch.
Putting together a winning team, there's a lot. Talent, work ethic, players that come in that want to play for the team first, and really build the chemistry of the group. And you know, Penticton's done a really good job of that. I look back over the last 40 years, I think Penticton has had outstanding track record, maybe 4 or 5 years when they weren't in that mode of getting really quality players. Lots and lots and lots of players have gone on and played in the NHL. And Fred Harbinson, who's the GM and head coach now, has taken it to a whole other level. You know, in the last number of years since Fred's been there, they've been winning the provincial championships and have had great teams. And a lot of that is his ability to recruit quality players to the program.
Well, I think, you know, it starts with people who are passionate and want to own the clubs. You know, it's not something that you're going to make money at, so it's really almost like a charity, and that you're kind of handed the keys to take care of it while you're here. And I think we've had some strong ownership groups over the years that cared about things and want to continue as we move forward. It's not like I said, it's not something you do to get recognition. It's just something you do for the community.
You know, I think it was people that dreamed of keeping it alive for many, many years, because it was really tough. They had tough years financially. They had a lot of adversity through those years, but there were a group of people, a lot of people, that really wanted to keep junior hockey going in Penticton. And they persevered, and each step that they took throughout the years seemed to raise the bar a little bit, and right to what we have now, the best franchise in Canada. You know, I think it starts with the 1955 hockey club team that won the World Championship. They set a base and a standard for hockey in Penticton. It was never good enough to just be competitive in Penticton. In Penticton, you have to be successful. And that is kind of an ingrown, built-in thing that happens with players, coaches, owners in this town. When, you know, I think the Vees have a slogan right now, something like, "We expect to win." And that's how it is here in Penticton. And it's set a high bar. We don't win every year, but we win a lot of years, and a lot more than a lot of other teams.
Well, I think what comes to mind would be the beginning and how it happened that just a group of kids would get together and form a team to enter into a league here in the Okanagan, and then go from that point virtually to the top of the world. It's almost a magical story, and it's had its effect on well, it actually brought recognition to the city, which then has gone forward to where it is today. And I'm convinced that had it not been for that, perhaps what we have today, look at what we have. We have a hockey academy next to none worldwide, and one of the best franchises in junior A hockey anywhere in the world. All of that emanated, all of that began from what happened back in the 50s.
Well, it starts with the Penticton Vees. I remember seeing pictures in the 50s when they won the World Championship, and down the fire trucks and down the city, and they painted it green and white for that team. And when we won against Alberta, they had the fire trucks outside when I played junior, so it was sort of living the dream of that. And they got great crowds, you know, the best crowds in junior hockey in the country, best arena. So they really built a program that top players really want to go and play for.
Well, you wanted them to represent the city. You know, you have that name on the front of your jersey. It says Penticton, so you want them to reflect your community, and you want them to, you know, you don't want them to handle how they talk to people, how they, you know, interact in other cities, and how they represent the city of Penticton. So, you know, it was always important. We had what was called the 3 C's: character, commitment, and courage. We were trying to find human beings that met those 3 human characteristics. And, you know, if you get people that have high character, they're going to do things the right way.
It's a must. You know, you have to have a good culture. Culture has to be about team first. Work ethic, you know, now working in the National Hockey League, that separates people. You know, the players that are willing to put in the extra hours, the dedication for their off ice as well as their on ice training, and their nutrition. There's so many different components of it now. If players are willing to put that time in and they have talent, you know, they have a chance to use hockey to better themselves as people and maybe have a career in the game.
I touched on the 3 C's, that you find the right kind of human beings, the right kind of players, not just on the ice, but people that are your coaches or involved with your hockey club. And that I think the difference between good and great are those 3 human characteristics. You know, commitment is, you know, it's hard work. It's all sorts of different things. Courage isn't about dropping the gloves. It's about, you know, when you're going home, that you're going to the gym and you're working out when your buddies want you to go out and have a little fun. You know, you're willing to do the things that you need to do. You're willing to take a hit to get a puck out of the zone or go to the front of the net and pay the price. And I think if you find people that have those characteristics, they just give you that little extra that you really needed on the ice. But I think Penticton also has had success because we're, for the junior A market, we're the right size of a market. We're a good, passionate town. We have beautiful geography here, so when you're recruiting players and you're coming in, you know, you're showing that rich hockey history. We've done a great job of getting players scholarships or helping move them on to higher levels of hockey. We've been able to get enough fans and resources to drive the revenues to be able to run a really high-end program here. And then with the new SOEC, you know, it's helped sell itself. You bring a recruit in the summertime, you take them to the beaches, the wineries, their families, you know, and spend some time here. It's a really hard place not to say yes to. So I think, you know, and Fred's really done a great job of recruiting and building those relationships with the colleges to help get high-end players to come play here. But there's a long list of families and players that want to come to Penticton, and I think it's not just the hockey club, but it's the Okanagan Hockey Academy. Prior to that, the Okanagan Hockey School. Penticton has a great reputation for developing hockey here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Vees have been successful for a number of reasons. I think a big one, obviously, is the people that they have here, the coaches that they've had, the players that they bring in, I think is a big part. I would also say that, you know, there's some momentum there when a team has success. You know, the recruiting, you know, maybe it's a bit easier. Players want to be part of organizations like that to try and win and have success. They've moved players on into college, you know, down in the States. Some players have gone on to play pro hockey. So I think when you combine all those things, that it's an attractive place for players to want to be.
I think they really go out and create an environment that is healthy for the players. That's not just on the ice, but they make sure that schooling's really important. And they really look at trying to get scholarships for their players, but still allow them, if they want to go to the Western Hockey League, to do that. But they give them clear avenues to that, and the track record speaks for itself. The number of players from Penticton that go to NCAA is second to none in this country.
Yeah, you know, I guess I would, you know, the way I see hockey now, it definitely is a lot different than when I grew up there. There's a lot more attention on things, you know, and I would sort of give the advice that the kids should hopefully are enjoying going to the rink ultimately. I think that's, if you don't have that, it's going to be hard to put the work in. It's going to be hard to want to be better. It's going to be hard to do all the things that are asked of you at the higher levels of hockey. So to me, hopefully, and I think they do, the kids still love the game the same way we did 30, 40 years ago, however many years it's been. So that would be my advice. Hockey's a great game. It can get better. There's always things to improve, but the things you learn from it, the experiences I had in the game of hockey, I'm very grateful for. And, if other kids can sort of enjoy that same feeling, whether it's in junior hockey or minor hockey or anywhere they're playing, I think it's a great thing.